The Johnson family had always been a tight-knit group, but they had never faced anything like the storm that was approaching their home. The clouds had been gathering all day, and as the evening drew near, the family made their way down to the basement to take refuge from the thunderstorm. As the rain began to fall, the wind howled outside, and lightning flashed across the sky. The family huddled together in the dimly lit basement. The sound of the storm was almost deafening, and the family had to shout to be heard over the noise. Suddenly, there was a blinding flash of light as lightning struck the house. The family screamed as the house shook violently, and the power went out, leaving them in complete darkness. For a moment, there was silence, and the family held their breath, waiting to see if the worst was over. But then, strange and terrifying things began to happen. The first thing they noticed was the smell. It was like something had died, and the odor was overpowering. The family began to cough and gag, but there was nowhere to go. They were trapped in the basement, with no way out. Then, they began to hear strange noises. It started with a soft scratching sound, like something was moving across the floor. But soon it grew louder and more frantic, and the family realized that whatever it was coming closer. Suddenly, the door to the basement burst open, and the family recoiled in horror as a creature slithered inside. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was tall and thin, with long, spindly limbs that seemed to reach out and grasp at the air. Its skin was gray and scaly, and its eyes glowed a sinister red. The family backed away in fear, but the creature didn't seem interested in them. Instead, it moved to the other side of the room, where it began to claw at the wall. As the family watched in horror, the creature began to rip away the drywall, revealing a hidden room behind it. The family had never seen this room before, but it was clear that the creature had been searching for it. The room was filled with old, dusty books and strange artifacts, and as the creature began to sift through them, the family realized that they were dealing with something far more sinister than just a thunderstorm. The creature seemed to be searching for something specific, and as it pawed through the dusty tomes, the family could sense that it was getting closer to its goal. Suddenly, the creature froze, and the family held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. But then, the creature let out a spine-chilling shriek and lunged at the family, its eyes filled with rage. The family scrambled to their feet, trying to escape the creature's grasp, but it was too late. The creature was upon them, and its long, spindly fingers closed around their throats, squeezing the life out of them. As the family lay dying, they could feel the creature's cold, scaly skin against their own, and they knew that they had made a grave mistake by taking refuge in their basement. They had unknowingly disturbed something ancient and evil, and now they were paying the price. As the thunderstorm raged on outside, the creature continued its search, its long fingers delving into the ancient tomes in search of the knowledge it sought. And as it sifted through the pages, the creature smiled, knowing that it had found what it had been looking for all along. The Johnson family had unknowingly opened a door to a world of darkness and evil, and now the creature had emerged from the shadows to claim its prize. And as the storm raged on outside, the creature began to work its dark magic, drawing power from the lightning that flashed across the sky. As the family lay dead at its feet, the creature began to grow stronger, its body pulsing with dark energy. It was clear that this was only the beginning of its reign of terror, and that more would suffer before its thirst for power was satisfied. The storm outside showed no signs of abating, and the creature reveled in the chaos and destruction that it had unleashed upon the world. It knew that there were more families hiding from the storm, and it relished the thought of hunting them down one by one. As the hours passed, the storm raged on, the thunder and lightning growing more and more intense. The creature moved through the house like a shadow, its long limbs carrying it effortlessly from room to room. Everywhere it went, it left a trail of destruction in its wake. Furniture was overturned, walls were torn apart, and the very fabric of the house seemed to be unraveling before the family's eyes. As the creature moved closer to the other families in the neighborhood, the Johnsons' bodies lay still and cold in the basement. But even in death, they knew that they had played a part in unleashing this horror upon the world. They had opened the door to darkness, and now the creature was free to do its worst. As the storm raged on, the creature continued its hunt, moving through the streets with lightning speed. The families who had taken refuge in their basements were no match for the creature's strength and cunning, and one by one, they fell before its wrath. In the end, there was no one left. The creature had destroyed everything in its path, leaving nothing but chaos and destruction in its wake. As the storm finally began to abate, the creature retreated back into the shadows, its thirst for power finally satisfied. But the world would never be the same again. The families who had survived would carry the memory of that night with them forever, haunted by the knowledge that they had come face to face with something ancient and evil, something that had been unleashed by the very storm that had forced them into hiding. And as the years passed, stories would be told of the creature that had emerged from the darkness that night, stories of its terrible power and its insatiable thirst for blood. But no one would ever know the truth of what had really happened in that quiet neighborhood, when a family took refuge in their basement during a severe thunderstorm and unwittingly unleashed a horror upon the world.